as well. And obviously he's even outperformed that despite him going a pick number 30. Let's go to another international player now, and we're looking at the centre from Paris, 21 years of age, 6'11", Ismail Kamagate, who is in that sort of group of centres outside of those top couple, if you don't include Chet, like you got Duran and Williams. And then there's a bunch of these guys. And we're going to talk about another one here today. This is Walker Kessler, there's Christian Koloko, and there's Ismail Kamagate, who I've had sort of in and out of the first round. He played 27 minutes a night for Paris last season, averaged 11 and 6. He had really good 64% from the field. Not the greatest rebounder, but some good shot blocking numbers. Just a guy that feels like one of those players that we talk about in the NBA. There's always a bunch of 22-minute, 24-minute a night centers who you might not feel comfortable closing games with, but can go out there and just be an interesting prospect. And the name I'll always throw out there for these sort of players is someone like Clint Capella, like a rim-running, rim-protecting big man who has significant limitations. And if you end up getting to Clint Capella, that's a really big success. So where are you with Kamagate? How do you place him, say, in comparison to Duran and Williams? Is he the next center off the board? Is that worth even a first-round pick, though?
You and I seem to agree on a lot of these guys. I've also had him in and out of the first round. Right now I have him lower 20s, like closer to the teens, somewhere 20 to 24. And comparing him, to Duran and Williams, I have him in between those two. I'm very high on Jalen Duran at the moment, and so we'll just put that to the side. But Williams is going to be a one coverage big, more or less. Maybe he'll be able to hedge and recover a little bit and play at the level of the screen a little bit. But he is most comfortable and most at home around the basket. And Kamagate at least presents the potential a bit more that he'll be able to switch. And there's been times where he's looked really good doing it because he's very, very light on his feet. And he's lighter on his feet than probably either Duran or Williams, though Duran obviously he's 18 years old, so who knows. But there have been times where he's gotten blown by veteran guards in that pro league. So it's not as though he's a savant at it. It's more that he has the tools, and physically he is affecting games enough to where you could see him in a rotation next year and then see where everything else goes. What do you think of his shooting touch, Kamagate's?
I'm not ruling it out. I'd say that if you're going to play the odds, you would say he's never going to be a great shooter or probably even an above average shooter, but it's not somewhere where I'm just going to rule it out completely. I think there is something there a little bit. The free throw percentage isn't fantastic, but I do think that he's got more range than, say, like if we're going to say the bottom of range for centers is Mitchell Robinson, like who just doesn't even put his arms up to shoot outside of the paint. I think Kamagate's got more than that, but he's not going to be Brook Lopez.
Yeah, and certainly, yeah. The centers who can really shoot show you they can really shoot very, very early. But I don't know. Like, I don't think he'll ever be a high volume guy, but in the same way that, you said maybe not necessarily closing games 20 to 25 minutes. I think that he could be someone who is very productive because he might take 3 threes and hit one of them and allow you to at least present the appearance of playing 5 out a little bit, especially with his movement skills. A player that I don't know that I would really go all in on comparing him to is someone like Maxi Kleber on the Mavs, whose primary skill is also in blocking shots. Kamagate, by the way, was Defensive Player of the Year in that league, so he really was very good at what he did. Kleber also can switch in a pinch, though the Warriors series sort of exposed those limitations. But as someone who is a 25 plus minute center on a conference finals team, I mean, that is returning first round value for Kleber. And that's not how he made his way to the NBA. But that is sort of the model that I think Kamagate might be able to follow. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I can see that. he's a very interesting prospect because there's all these sort of guys around this area, like him and Koloko around this area, where we go, maybe there's a little bit of shooting that can happen in this area, and if it does, it changes so much about them. But I wouldn't want to invest a top 15 pick in hoping that happens. But yeah, there is that chance that it happens. I'm pretty interested in him. I was interested in him, dropped off a little bit there, but to me, unless you're this really sort of game-changing type of center, I don't really want to take you in the top 20, and I'm feeling a little bit iffy about having Mark Williams in that just for that particular reason. But